Hello, hello, testing. All right, guys, thanks for joining my mini session. My name is Jeff Sturtz. I'm a Hyperscale FAE, and I'm going to be talking to you today about introducing you to the Lenovos Hyperscale segment. So first, before we kind of dive in, I want to define how we think and view hyperscale because there's many different names and many different terminologies. So I just want to have a baseline to understand, make sure you guys understand what I'm going to talk through today. So what is hyperscale? Well, as its name implies, it is all about achieving massive scale in computing. So typically for purposes of big data or cloud computing. So we refer to these CSPs or hyperscalers that have large-scale data centers and generally have a minimum of 5,000 servers and are at least 10,000 square feet or so. They're not much larger and used in disaggregated high-density and power-optimized infrastructures. These are not traditional heterogeneous standard enterprise environments. So why hyperscale? Why is it such a big deal? Why do you hear all these buzzwords in the industry? There are various reasons to this. Various reasons that organizations want to adopt this type of model, but really the main driver is really cost optimized, right? So taking costs out of products and solutions that don't resonate with hyperscalers. They don't want to pay for what they don't use, essentially. So the way that we've tackled it, the way that we've organized ourselves to attack this market, we've done it in a few different ways. And so I'll talk about sort of how we handle the rest of the enterprise business first, and then I'll talk about how hyperscale, how it's different in a couple different ways. So we have a data center group team that is responsible for standard rack mount servers that are in a very methodical development cycle that lines up very much with our industry partners, right? Intel and AMD, for example. So that aligns to their release cycle, their cadence cycle. And these products have multiple routes to market, typically through direct sales, through a channel, through resellers, right? We can get to those markets in many different ways. Now, contrast that with hyperscale, and the difference is, back up one. The difference is we meet specific product needs for each customer segment. So it's really a purpose-built model versus designing to a bell curve. And the timing really is a time to bid, right? So typically we're under the gun, we're under pressure to get bids out for RFPs or RFIs, and the timing doesn't necessarily have to align with a product announcement, a product release set of a silicon provider, for example. And really, we attack this way. We attack the hyperscale market in two methods. 99% of it is through direct sales for our tier ones, and we handle the other, it could be direct or it could be indirect for the tier 2 or tier 3 space. So I'm going to back up a little bit and talk to you how Lenovo, how we've got here so far. So we'll call last year Hyperscale 1.0. That's really where we started to organize and lay out a structure and processes to be able to service these high demand customers. So we started with 3 tier 1 customers last year. We leveraged, in all honesty, we leveraged ODMs to bring in motherboards. We brought L6 in from ODMs, and then we integrated them to L10, and then we could do L11 rack level integration from there. Our organizational structure and transformation started to begin, and our ODM Plus model was initiated. I'll talk about ODM Plus next in the next slide. So leap forward to today. So today we have 6 tier 1 customers. We have our own in-house motherboard design capabilities, so we're no longer leveraging or need to leverage ODM partners. We have dedicated end-to-end organization, and what that helps us is that really streamlines us and allows us to have the agility we need to service these customers. And we've implemented our ODM Plus model. So what is ODM Plus? So to us, it refers to a type of business that behaves and functions more than just an ODM, with the power and reach of the greater Lenovo that we have at our disposal with our other business groups. So we have a dedicated organization with end-to-end capabilities. We're the only company that can claim complete end-to-end ownership by having in-house design capabilities, in-house manufacturing capabilities, and in-house service capabilities globally. Okay, most of our competitors own one or two of these capabilities, but not all three. So what does we design it mean? We design it means that we have industry-leading engineering that can quickly customize high-quality products through direct customer engagement. We have dedicated teams of technical architects that engage customers early on in the definition process to ensure all requirements are met. Then Lenovo engineers move on to executing by designing, testing, validating, and qualifying the product. Not by outsourcing to ODMs, because now we can do that all in-house ourselves now. So we really can encompass the end-to-end vertical integration. And the bottom line from our customer point is view is simple. It's an important layer in their cost stack that's removed. So let's move on to we build it. From planning to scheduling to purchasing parts to building the product, we're getting the product into our customers. Our world-class supply chain has the flexibility and know-how to solve the most difficult requirements. And unlike most OEMs that would outsource that manufacturing capability or outsource the logistics piece, again, our in-house capabilities eliminates another major layer of the customer's cost stack, since we can do it ourselves. And lastly, we deploy. We have an internal global services and support team that has we have a global reach. And we can accommodate a variety of requirements all around the globe. So this slide just is really to showcase our design capabilities and what we can do. So we can design things all the way up from your high-end mission-critical 8-socket box to water-cooled node to peripheral cards. We have industry leadership. We partner with lots of folks to bring to market some things like M.2 FPGAs and other peripheral cards that we can also produce. And we call them generic, but they're really 1U, 2U rack mount servers that are targeted for our hyperscale customers. So we don't take the burden of a traditional enterprise box. We kind of scale it down, right? We expose things that we know our customers will want. They want SATA headers on the board, right? They don't want RAID, those sorts of things. We've done that, and we have general offerings for that space as well. And then we build it, like I mentioned earlier. The real strength comes from the fact that we own our own manufacturing facilities. This is a pretty big deal. So this allows us to build anything, anywhere, and products to our customers from any local or geopolitical issues or local supply issues. Our supply chain was rated number 26 by Gartner, and it ranks us the best of breed across all industries. So this is our Hefei China plant, and just to kind of give you some perspective about the size of it, its magnitude, it's roughly you can fit 4 football fields inside of the facility. So it's a massive, huge facility that we're very proud of and that we leverage every day. And lastly, we deploy it. Our services and support team provides a comprehensive global footprint with consistent delivery with teams located around the globe. We can speak 147 languages. We're in over 160 countries, and that truly gives us a global footprint that can be peace of mind to our customers. There are some specific characteristics within services and support that are only applicable to hyperscale, such as the majority of customer hardware is custom. The majority of our tier 1 hyperscale customers are self-maintainers, so that means base warranty includes things like 3 years parts only. We do have other offerings, right? 2 basic support models is parts only, and then parts and labor. And our unique service cost estimate is provided to support our customer needs. And lastly, we work together with our customers as new technologies emerge and evolve. That's important in our space, so we can quickly recreate and resolve situations as they arise. There's an ease of doing business with Lenovo that our customers have learned to expect. We design it with our in-house engineers and our own development centers. We build it with a highly experienced supply chain and our own facilities, and we deploy it with a global services and support team. And with that, I conclude our presentation today, and thank you.